Welcome back everyone to our EDL Season 3 Week 8, I think. Yes, Week 8 video. We just had a massive win last week against Pup. We were in control for essentially the entire game and ended up on top as we should have. That compounded by Fist losing to Cats has launched us into a top 4 spot, which is exactly where we want to be. If we finish in the top 4, that means that we don't get eliminated necessarily in the first round of playoffs. In fact, if we win that round, we skip round 2 and go straight to round 3. And if we win that, then we make the championship match. So being in the top 4 is a fantastic spot to be in, and we are currently there right now. In order to stay there, we have to win this week against Gauplow and the San Diego Zebstrika, who are currently 6-1 plus 8. So they've been winning, but they haven't been winning by a lot. They've had a lot of close games, and I think they had a big loss towards the start of the season. So they've been on quite a win streak, but we're taking on them. Last time I faced Gauplow was in Season 2, about halfway through. I ended up sweeping him with Scolipede. I think it got 5 kills. I think it went 5-1 because it died to Life Orb Recoil on the very last turn when it knocked out Gauplow's final Pokemon. So it was very, very good work there, but this game I don't think will nearly be as easy as that one was. So let's have a look at the matchup. So he's got a Heatran, which is his Z-Captain, which is an insanely powerful Fire and Steel type Pokemon, very strong Fire type. It can be run offensive, can be run defensive. It gets a lot of coverage as well. Get Stealth Rocks and a lot of utility there. Can burn things with its ability Flame Body, but it's also immune to fire with its Flash Fire ability. If it doesn't have that, then it takes neutral damage because fire resists fire, but steel is weak to fire. I fully expect this thing to come, but I can't tell for sure whether it's going to be offensive or defensive. Both of them put in a fair bit of work against my team. Next up is a Grimmsnarl, which is his screen setter. He gets dual screens out of it, but this thing can be run offensive too, with its massive 120 attack stat and a ridiculous amount of coverage. Offensive Grimmsnarl really puts in work against my team, which is very, very scary for me. I'm actually very terrified of it, to be honest. So a lot of the Pokemon that he's got can be run offensive against me. So he could very well bring Hyper Offense, but I really don't think he'll do that. Next he's got Serena, which is his primary hazard removal that isn't weak to rocks, which is nice for him. It gets Rapid Spin. It can also heal itself up with Synthesis. It gets a fair bit of coverage as well with Play Rough, High Jump Kick, U-Turn, and a few other things that I don't quite remember right now. Pretty big attack stat on this thing as well, and with a Rapid Spin and its natural speed, this thing can outspeed a fair bit of things. It can really dent my team, but defensively I don't really like this thing too much. But its ability Queenly Majesty means that it can't be hit by priority moves, which is fine for pretty much everything that isn't Mega Scizor. It means I can't really Bullet Punch it. So if this thing comes, it's probably going to be running Queenly Majesty, so I can't Bullet Punch it, but I still have other ways to touch it, and it can't really touch me back, which is a very nice thing to have. He's got a Diancie, which is a really, really bulky rock and fairy type, really defensive. It gets it's one of his stealth rockers as well, and I'm not really sure what other utility it gets because it's not really used too often, but it's got a usable attack and special attack stat, as well as pretty good defenses. Its HP is pretty poor, its speed's pretty poor, but I think that its defense and usable offense can actually make up for that. I'm really not sure what this thing does, but I'm sure we can take care of it fairly easily. It does get Mystical Fire though, which is something to watch out for with Scizor. He's got a Delphox, which is another fire type of his. It's one of his 2 Wish Passes as well. His 2 budget Wish Passes. It's actually a really, really strong Pokemon. Very good special attack and very good speed stat as well. Base 104 allows it to outspeed a lot of things. It gets a fair bit of coverage as well, but this thing offensively really dents my team, and I'm actually very scared of it. but it does get Wish support to heal his team up, so it can be run defensive. A lot of his team can be run both offensive and defensive, which is actually kind of scary. Delphox is a serious threat, but I do think we have ways to manage it. And there is a chance though that he may not bring it at all because of my LOL and Muck. I brought it last week against Pup, which scared him from bringing Alakazam. So he, considering I've brought a LOL and Muck quite a lot of times, he might be too afraid to bring Delphox and just not worry about it at all. Which would actually be fantastic for me. He's got a Raichu, which is another Wish Passer. It's also the fastest Pokemon on his team. Hits really, really hard, even though it's got base 90 special attack and base 90 attack. Like, it hits super hard for no reason at all. Because he's got Rain, this thing could be running Thunder, but I actually don't think he'll bring Rain. But this thing is really fast. It has to run Timid though, because I do have a faster team than he does. Without Rain, that is. Even with Rain. Yeah, this thing can really put in a fair bit of work. It can paralyze a few things too, and can heal itself and the rest of the party up with Wish. He's got Mega Swampert, which is one of his 2 Rain sweepers. Fantastic 150 attack stat, pretty good bulk all around with 100 HP and 110 defenses. Base 70 speed is pretty lackluster, even in Rain. I've got a few things that can outspeed it still. But it still puts on a hell of a show, and it's really hard to switch into. I do have a few. Fortunately for me, I've got some of the best switch-ins to Water Spam. Like for a Rain team, I've got some of the best switch-ins, but that still doesn't mean it won't put a dent in my team. This thing is very scary. It can boost its own attack with Power Up Punch and Bulk Up. So it's definitely something to watch out for. He's also got a Dracovish, which is another Rain sweeper. Not because it's got Swift Swim, but because of Vicious Rend. Vicious Rend in Rain does so much damage for no reason at all. Scarf or Banded, either way, it still puts a dent in my team. Again, I do have switch-ins for it. I do have answers to Rain. The more scary part of his team is not Rain, which Delphox, Heatran, and Raichu. But Rain is scary, not to be slept on, and definitely needs to be prepped for. And I think I've got it. Even though Dracovish can really dent my team if I'm not ready for it, if I let things go down. He's got his Rain setter now with Pelipper, which is another one of his primary defoggers. Also, as I said, his Rain setter. Typically run utility with Roost, Toxic, U-Turn, Defog, Scald, Hurricane, whatever. Can be run offensive with its 95 special attack stat, but usually it's a defensive pivot for Rain. And it does a pretty good job of it, even though it's probably one of the highest ranked Pokemon with like a 440 base stat total. Just because of the fact that it can set up Rain. I think this thing is like a tier 2 or tier 3 or something like that. I think it's tier 2. I don't know. That just seems really whack to me. But it's super good, even though its stats aren't too flash, and can really put in a fair bit of work. He's got a Cofagrigus, which is a bulky ghost type with spikes. I think it gets toxic spikes. Yeah, it does. Gets toxic spikes. Can burn stuff with Will-O-Wisp. Can toxic stuff. Pain Split. This thing is generally just really annoying. Nightshade also breaks substitutes if I ever wanted to bring substitute on anything. Also, its ability Mummy swaps out my ability for Mummy. If I touch it with I don't know if it's with a physical move or just if I touch it in general, but that can be pretty annoying as well. And lastly, he's got a Masquerain, which is his web setter. I'm really not too worried about this thing, although I do need to remember in the back of my mind that this thing can show up. But it is a really good Quiver Dance Pokemon. It comes in Intimidates, so it drops the opponent's attack, then sets up Quiver Dance, which boosts its special defense. So you really got to switch out before you can touch it, which means that Masquerain can get up a free Quiver Dance more often than not. All it really does though is it can defog, but you need to run heavy duty boots for it like every week. It's kind of like Volcarona, but very, very budget and with webs. But this thing can put in a fair bit of work. I just really don't anticipate this thing showing up at all. but you never know. He could have something really whack up his sleeve, and he might make an appearance. Looking at the type matchup, he's done really well to balance out his team, like balance out his electric and grass weaknesses, despite it being a rain team. This is mostly due to the fact that he's got 2 fire types as well, which I think is really weird on a rain team. But he's done a lot of double ups on types. He's got 2 fairies, 2 fires, 3 waters, 2 flying types. You know, it's but he's done really well to balance it out. He's got a bit of a ground weakness, but not really. But he's yeah, as I keep saying, he's done super well. He only has 1 rock resist though, and he's got 1 ghost resist. But unfortunately, I don't really have the opportunity to get up rocks in this game. I'm not bringing any of my rockers, and I've only got 2 rockers, so. But I do have a lot of removal, which may dissuade him from bringing webs in the first place. He'll probably still bring rocks though. But anyway, let's just jump right into what we've got. So we're kicking things off with our Volcanion Dogs Piss on Me. We're running defensive again with Willow, Steam Eruption, Sludge Wave, and Protect. This thing is our Dracovish answer. It comes in and takes any hit, even a Banded Earthquake. I think it takes 2 of them. This thing is super tanky. It can burn, it really just burns it, then heals itself up with Leftovers and Protect. But once Dracovish is burnt, it can't really touch Volcanion at all. It's also, due to its Water Absorb, it's also a Vicious Ren switch-in. It comes in and gets health back from it, which is fantastic. Although the Earthquake is kind of always, it's always worrying. But this thing also is a secondary answer to Mega Swampert, also to Heatran, although I gotta watch out for those Earth powers. But this thing can come in on a few other things and really dent them, but I'm mainly saving this thing for Dracovish. I've got Rotom Wash next, Boshko Burr with Willow, Pain Split, Volt Switch, and Hydro Pump. This is our switch-in to Pelipper, as well as Mega Swampert, Heatran, Delphox, a number of things. Pain Split is for recovery, obviously, to keep myself healthy, plus Leftovers, but Willow, Hydro, Volt Switch. Willow's to cripple the Swampert, maybe cripple the Dracovish if I can. I think it can take a few hits from that, as long as it's not banded. But I'm mostly specially defensive to take on the Delphox. Delphox and the Heatran, those things are very scary for me, and I want to make sure that I can deal with them with Rotom. I got to keep in mind though that Heatran is his Z Captain, and it does get Z Solar Beam. So I do have to watch out for that. Delphox also gets Grass Knot, which is another thing to watch out for. But hopefully we're in the clear and we can deal with them. But we are running defense to make sure that we can also take on the Mega Swampert. Next up, we're bringing Lesbian Bug, the Mega Scizor with Bullet Punch, U-Turn, Defog, and Roost. This is our defensive pivot, but we are running a lot of offense. I'm probably going to swap that. I might swap that for defense, but I probably won't, because this thing defensively is not really necessary. But this is our Grimmsnarl switch-in, assuming it's not offensive, because offensive Grimmsnarl is going to be terrifying. But what this thing does is it comes in on Grimmsnarl, defogs, it underspeeds and defogs away the screens, and then outspeeds with Bullet Punch priority to hurt Grimmsnarl, maybe even kill it. Which is fantastic for us. It's a quick and easy way to get rid of Grimmsnarl. It's great. It's our hazard removal to keep rocks off the field, and also a good slow pivot into our offensive threats, which are coming up now. Next up, we're bringing Patient Zero, our Choice Specs Noivern with Frisk, again as usual. Draco, Hurricane, Water Pulse, and U-Turn. Enough speed to outspeed. I think it's enough speed to outspeed the Raichu. That sounds right. Max special attack and the rest in HP. We are running Hurricane. Hurricane spam is fantastic against his team. His 2 switch-ins are Diancie and Heatran, but Specs Water Pulse in the rain is going to do a shit ton to both of them. I think it's a 3-hit KO on each, which is still really good because we really dent things. We don't really touch it with Draco or Hurricane, so this is really the best we can do to make sure that we can touch it. We can definitely catch them by surprise with this coverage, because people don't really think of running Water Pulse on Noivern. You usually just think, okay, Draco, Hurricane, Fire coverage, Boom Burst, U-Turn. That's really it. But we can really shock them. But otherwise, Hurricane is really good spam against his team, particularly in rain, because that means it doesn't miss. But he doesn't really have any other switch-ins to Hurricane, which is going to be, which is hopefully going to be really advantageous to us. Next up, we're bringing Scarf Cinchino, the Queen Chinchilla with Tail Slap, Bullet Seed, Aqua Tail, and U-Turn. Enough speed to outspeed Mega Swampert, Jolly Mega Swampert in Rain, which is going to be fantastic for us, because we can also revenge it and kill it back with Bullet Seed as long as it isn't a bulk up set. We're also running Aqua Tail again to catch the Heatran and the Diancie on the switch-ins. Heatran is usually an easy switch into Cinchino, but we can hopefully catch it with the Aqua Tail. In Rain, I think depending on its spread, it's a 2-hit KO, but don't quote me on that, I don't exactly remember the calcs. And then U-Turn for general momentum, Tail Slap for general damage. Tail Slap hits pretty much everything that isn't Cofagrigus or Heatran Diancie. U-Turn is really just a pivot out on Cofagrigus, but I'm not really sure if Cofagrigus is even going to show up again, because I do have an Alolan Muck, which I have been bringing regularly, so that he's got to have that in the back of his mind when he's prepping. And last but not least, we're making the debutante Salim the GOGOAT, lefties with Grass Pelt, Horn Leech, Grassy Terrain, Milk Drink, and Toxic. This is our secondary switch-in, our secondary wall for Dracovish and Mega Swampert. I'm making sure that I can beat both of these things. Grassy Terrain allows Earthquake also to do less damage, which is great for Volcanion, because it means Volcanion can come in on Earthquakes and really and tank those much better. But also our ability Grass Pelt means that our defense is multiplied by 1.5 if Grassy Terrain is up. So we can essentially get extra recovery plus extra defense in order to take on Dracovish and Mega Swampert, and it does the job really nicely. We're running Horn Leech for recovery, which hits pretty much everything that isn't a Delphox or a Heatran, and Toxic is also there for the Cofagrigus and also for chipping down some other things like maybe Serena, Diancie, Grimmsnarl, Delphox, anything bulky that isn't called Heatran. So hopefully GoGo can really put in some work in his debut match. We're also running enough defense to take those hits from Dracovish and Swampert. We're also running speed. I don't really remember what the speed's for. 181. It's enough speed to outspeed Serena. No speed Serena. So we can Toxic it. We can keep ourselves healthy and chip it down. Although we probably won't be staying in on that thing anyway. We'd probably just go straight into Scizor. Anyway, this is the team that we're bringing. We're a bit Heatran weak, we're a bit Delphox weak, but I think we can handle it with Rotom and with offensive pressure from Noivern and Cinchino. I think we'll be okay. I'm really nervous for this game. We kind of really do have to win this one. If we win this one, we pretty much lock ourselves into a playoff spot. Gaupplow's already locked in, Clay's locked in too, but us three, Koala, myself, and Fist, we're all fighting for that. We're all fighting for that spot this week. Hopefully we can get it. Hopefully I can get it and they don't. So, but I guess we'll see what happens. So that's the team that we're rocking with, and I'll see you guys in just a few moments for the battle. Hey guys, we are back for our Week 8 battle against Gauplow. He's setting us the challenge right now, so we are just going to accept and get straight into it. Okay, jeez, this is scary. So we didn't bring the Heatran, which is very surprising to me. But he did bring the Dracovish, the Mega Swampert, and Pelipper, so we brought the Rain. He's brought Raichu, Delphox, and Cofagrigus. Okay, so no Grimmsnarl. No Grimmsnarl is interesting. No Grimmsnarl, no Heatran. I'm actually very surprised by... that. Anyways, so, who do we lead with? I think we just lead with Noivern, to be honest. I mean, it's a pretty safe lead, all things considered. I feel like he's going to lead with Cofagrigus, Raichu, or Pelipper. So I'm going to lead with, I think Noivern is the best play for that. I could lead Scizor actually, but I kind of want to start off on the offensive. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to lead Noivern. Okay, so he led with Pelipper. Boots Pelipper, so he's probably defensive. So this thing could have Ice Beam. It might live the hit and have Ice Beam. So I'm just going to U-turn. I'm going to U-turn to scout for the ice beam. And I'll probably... I think I'll just go into Rotom just to play it safe early on, see what he's got. Okay, so we're just going to roost up. I can probably Volt Switch. No, he could go into Raichu, so Volt Switching is probably not the best idea. I'm going to Hydro Pump and see what he goes into. Okay, so he does go into the Raichu, so I make that prediction. We do a lot of damage to it, which is fantastic. It's not leftovers, so it may not. So it's probably going to be offensive. I'm going to go GOGOAT. Okay, so he does have Thunder, and we eat that really well. We eat that really well. He's probably going to go into Delphox, but I don't know if this thing is choiced yet. I might slap a Toxic. I might go for a Toxic. I can Toxic the Cofagrigus, the Delphox, possibly the Raichu. I can Toxic something. So this Raichu's probably got Lightning Rod. So it's probably Lightning Rod Raichu, but I'll Toxic something. Okay, Toxic the Cofagrigus, that's massive. Okay, we Toxic the Cofagrigus. This thing could Toxic me back. It could burn me as well though, so I don't really know what to do. I kind of need this thing to be, I kind of need this thing around. So I might go into, I don't really need Scizor too much in this game. So I can probably go into Scizor to see if he's going to be Willow or if he is Toxic. Or I can go into Noivern. I could go into Noivern, because Noivern can take either a Toxic or a Will-O-Wisp. So I could do that. But I want to scout this set first. So I think I'm going to go into Scizor. Let's see if he's Willow. He's Iron Defense. Okay. I'm just going to Mega Revolve and U-turn back out. I think I'm going to go into Noivern. Yeah, I'll U-turn out into Noivern. So this thing has probably got a lot of special defense investment. This thing's probably very specially defensive. It's not leftovers, which is also interesting. He could be Rest. He could be running Rest, so I'm just going to go into Noivern. He's Colbur. Okay, good to know. So, I can probably just fire off a Hurricane here. Oh, god damn it, we miss. Is he Pain Splits? Okay, let's go for another one. This into Toxic should kill it. I'm fine if we take some damage from it. Okay, so he just switches into Raichu. We miss again. That's annoying. It's about time we missed some of those. I'm gonna go into GOGOAT. GOGOAT's a very reliable switch into this thing. So we take the Volt Switch and he goes into Delphox. I'm just gonna go into Rotom. Rotom's an easy switch in. Hopefully. Okay, so he fires off a Toxic. That's fine. I'm just gonna go for a Hydro. We'll play aggressive. Okay. So he goes Protect. So I'm gonna Volt Switch now. Actually, no. I'm just gonna Hydro again. So he's Toxic Protect. Okay, so he goes into the Vish. Okay, now I go into Volcanion. Because I want to keep Rotom with as much health as possible. Want to keep Rotom with as much health as possible. So I'll go Volcanion. Since that's my switch into this thing. Okay, I really hope he's just offensive and not some weird water absorb set. Okay, what's he gonna do? We'll also find out if he's banded or not by this hit. Because if he's banded, it should do like 40 to 50%. Yeah, that thing's banded, definitely. Oh no, it's Life Orb. Okay, so we can just fire off a Protect here. So we'll just, we can probably just fire off a protect to get HP back. Actually, no. We can just burn this thing. We can just burn this thing. So once this thing's burnt, we live hits much better. And we can take another Earthquake. I think he'll switch. I really don't think he stays in here. Okay, Life Orb is interesting. I didn't anticipate that. Okay, so he just stays in. Can we connect the Willow? Yes, we can. Okay, fantastic. Okay, now I can protect. Now I can protect here to keep myself healthy. And after protect, we should be able to live another... Okay, let's just calc that. Dracovish. Life Orb. Earthquake. There's about 44%. Okay, so if he's burnt, to do 20 to 23%. Yeah, so we live another. But I think what I want to do is I'm going to switch into Scizor. I think I'm going to switch into Scizor. So we're really chipping this thing down. Okay, so that doesn't really do anything. Now we can go for a U-turn, because I don't think he stays. He could stay in. He could stay in. But I think I got to go for the U-turn for the momentum, because I can always just go into GOGOAT, is the thing. I can just go into GOGOAT. Okay, so he just stays in and goes for the Rend. We get the U-turn off. I'm fine with letting Scizor take damage. I'm fine with I'll just go into Noivern, because it's a fairly good switch in. I'm fine with letting Scizor take damage, because we don't really need it as much in this game. Okay, so Swampet's in, so I'm going to U-turn out. I'm just going to go into... Salim. Okay, so he sets up his rocks, which is fine. I can go for a grassy terrain now. Actually, no, I'm going to go for a Toxic. Okay, so we get the Toxic off on the Pelipper, which is good. But what do we go into now, is the thing. What do we go into? Because those rocks are going to be really annoying. And with Scizor so low, we've got to get it in on Cofagrigus. So what do I do here? How much is Pelipper doing to GOGOAT? He's defensive. Hurricane's doing about 54 to 60. Okay. I think I just go... This is really tough. I'm actually in a really tough spot right now. Do I need Volcanion anymore? Volcanion can be really useful with the rain. I kind of need Scizor to get hazards off. So I can't really let that thing go down. I think I'm forced to go into Rotom. Okay, so he goes for the U-turn. Okay, and he goes into Raichu. So I can just go back into Salim fairly easily. I'm fine with that. We're not in a bad spot necessarily. We're not doing too badly. But we definitely don't really have all the momentum here that we really want. We need to get those hazards off. So we need to get Scizor in on Cofagrigus. Okay. He probably just goes into Delphox here. Yeah, he does. Okay. Now I can probably fire off... Do I take the risk? No, I don't think I can. I don't think I can take the risk here and go fire off a Toxic. He's Toxic Protect. I probably can fire off a Toxic here, because we don't take that much from a Flamethrower in the rain. Yeah, we don't take much. Okay, and there's still another turn of rain, so I can go for a milk drink here. I can heal myself up. Okay, so now the fire move's coming. So now I can go into Noivern. Okay. Now I can probably just go for a U-turn, or I can drop a Draco. I kind of want to drop a Draco. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Wait, how much are we doing to this thing? Has it taken any damage from anything? I don't think so. How much is Noivern doing to Delphox? Wait. Wish Protect. Draco is doing a lot to max HP. I think we just go for the Draco. Yes, okay, so we just switches into Kofag, which is actually a big problem, because I don't really want... I didn't really want that. The play was probably just a U-turn there. Oh well. We'll find an opportunity to get Scizor in if we can burn the Swampert. Or we can get it in on the Pelipper. I think it outspeeds naturally. Pelipper's base 65. Yeah, Scizor's base 75. Okay, so this thing's probably Scarfed. I'm going to go into Salim. Okay, I didn't even realize that Draco was a crit. I really don't think it mattered. But it might have. It actually might have mattered. Hold on. Against Kofag. I'm assuming it was special defense. No, I don't think that mattered. Okay, so he just goes for another Volt Switch. Into Pelipper. Okay, I think what I do here... Okay, what do I do against this thing? I can't keep going Rotom. I think I'm going to go into... I could go into Cinccino. How much does Cinccino need to clean up? How much does Cinccino need? Okay, so... Against a Raichu, Tail Slap kills. Delphox, Tail Slap should kill from that range. What about Pelipper? That's the... Okay, so I need some more chip on Pelipper. I feel like I may just have to let Volcanion go down. Then I can get the free into Scizor and I can go for a Defog. That may be the play. Or maybe we can just go for damage. We can go for a Horn Leech, because we outspeed naturally, I think. He could just go for a U-turn. Pelipper GOGOAT 68. Yeah, we outspeed naturally. He could just go for a U-turn. I think I'm going to go for a Horn Leech. We get the crit. That's going to be massive. Okay, so he just stays in and goes for the Hurricane. Now what we can do is we can put this thing in Cinccino range. How much is... Wait. Okay, Swampet's taking 50%. So it's not really a switch in. He doesn't really have a switch in. And if he goes Swampert... I think we have to let... Yeah, I think we let Volcanion go down. Okay, he goes into the Delphox. Okay, so we can just go for a Protect to get some health back. Or we can just go for the offense. Oh, he's Pasho Berry as well. That's the other thing. Anyway, I'm going to go for the Protect to get the HP back. Okay, so he goes for a Wish. That's not good. Okay, I'm going to go for a Steam Eruption. I got to fire off a Steam Eruption. We got to kill something. Okay, we got to kill something. We don't want to let this thing get a wish off. Okay, so it just heals itself back up. So I can probably just go for a steam eruption again now. Okay, he misses the toxic, and we miss the steam eruption. Okay. Let's just go again. Let's just fire off another one. Because he's just taking toxic damage. He takes a lot next turn, which is going to be huge. So we can just knock... Oh, my God. We can't knock this thing out. We can't hit anything. Okay, let's fire off another steam eruption. Okay, so he goes for the wish. So we can't really let this thing heal up anything, particularly not the Raichu. Actually, no, we can probably let him heal up the Raichu because then we can go into Cinccino. Because Volcanion's pretty useless at this point. Okay, so he goes into the Raichu. I'm just going to fire off a steam eruption for... Okay, so he just Volt switches. Who does he go into? Pelipper. Okay, that's good. Excuse me. That's good because we can get rid of hazards now. So we can go into Scizor and we can defog now. Assuming we outspeed. I really hope we do. Okay, we outspeed. He knocks us out. That's okay. Now I can go into Noivern and we can fire off some Hurricanes. Hurricane is doing a lot. Okay, he goes into Raichu. Raichu is not a switch in. It just comes down to Swampy and Pelipper. Okay, so when it comes to Swampert, we can probably let Salim go down at this point. So I'm going to go into Salim. How much is Bullet? Okay, how much is Bullet Seed doing to defensive Pelipper? Not as much as Tail Slap. Okay, so Liquidation kills. That's okay. Now I think we can go into Cinccino and we can fire off a Bullet Seed. Hopefully that can 2-hit KO the Pelipper. But this should kill the Swampert. I don't see how we live this. This should kill. And if it doesn't kill that, it should be like a 2-hit KO almost on Pelipper, which would be great. Okay, come on, let's see what he does. Queen Chinchilla's about to get her first kill. There we go. Queen Chinchilla's first kill. Okay, now I think we just go into Rotom. We play it safe, we go into Rotom, we fire off a Volt Switch. Because this thing just takes toxic damage. So now I can fire off a Volt Switch. And hopefully that'll be the game. Come on. Yes! We did it. We did it. Cinccino got her first kill as well, which is fantastic. GOGOAT really put in the work. So these two that I've barely brought all season have really put in the work today. Oh my god, this is such a relief. I've been stressing about this game for ages. And we get the 3-0 win. So let's see where that... so that puts us at 6-2 plus 14. So we're going up to second now. So Gauplow drops down to 6-2 plus 5, which is actually a pretty poor differential. But we're in a really, really good spot now. I think we've locked in playoffs as well. So we've locked in playoffs with 2 weeks to go, which is fantastic. So yeah, this win's put us in a fantastic spot. So yeah, that went really well. Volcanion did its job and it shut down the Dracovish. Noivern put in a lot of offensive pressure with Hurricane and Draco. Cinccino managed to get the kill on Swampert, which is what it was brought to do. GOGOAT was a fantastic switch into Raichu and got the Toxic on Cofagrigus, which was huge. Scizor was there mostly for the Grimmsnarl, but Grimmsnarl didn't show up. So I really just needed it to keep hazards off, which it did. And then Rotom was just Rotom. So everything worked exactly the way I wanted it to. And we came out on top, and that's all you can really ask for. So GG to Gauplow and the San Diego Zebstrika, who have locked in a playoff spot as well. I think, I don't know, the differential's pretty poor. If he loses out, he might be in a bit of trouble, but I think I'm pretty sure 6-4 should get you in. So well done to him. Yeah, that went really well. So thank you for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more Pokemon related content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.